All right. Hey, hello everybody. Can you just give me a wave and let me know you've got sound? Okay, cool. I was just trying to do a Facebook Live and it wasn't working and I wondered if it was my system, but it seems like I'm okay. So nice to see so many of you. And for those of you that are watching on recording, good to have you as well. I wanted to, there's a couple things I wanted to recap and address, and then I want to turn the call really over to you and Andrea and kind of, gather some information from you guys and hear your concerns. And I want you to know that this call isn't designed to solve any specific problems for you. It's really designed to kind of find out what's going on out there and answer some of your general questions about where we're going. But before getting to that, I want to share a little bit of history with you and a little bit of an awareness of the kind of decision-making process that we have to go through as we're building this business. And, so one of the challenges that we have faced, or it's been a positive challenge, but also been somewhat difficult for us, is that when I first started this business, 6 years ago, it was a personal coaching practice. In other words, I was the coach and I was building the business by myself. And ultimately what gave birth to our desire to expand out into training other people how the WildFit system works and that sort of stuff is that we were just getting such phenomenal results, and I could only do so many people at a time, and I could only have so much reach. And also I was only ever going to appeal to certain people. In other words, there are certain people that would much prefer to hear this message from you than from me or what have you. And so we really wanted to be able to spread the word. I also am really aware that in health coaching, personal contact, frankly, in any kind of personal coaching, personal contact is a really important thing. And I mean, how many people can I have personal contact with in all the different countries around the world? So all of these things kind of gave birth to us wanting to take the WildFit method and bring it out to other people. And when we did that, we wanted to, we took a look and said, well, what ultimately is it to become a WildFit coach? Who is it ultimately becomes a WildFit coach, and what do they then do? And that has evolved and morphed over the years. But the core beginnings of it was we wanted to make sure that our WildFit coaches understood the core nutritional principles of WildFit. Everything from the sort of more origin paleo-esque style of what we do down to the real like nitty-gritty evolutionary biology WildFit side of what we do. That was one part of it. And that was an education that to a large degree you could get from somebody like integrative nutrition. They teach principles, they're not as complete, but they teach some nutritional principles, not terribly unlike what we teach. And that's all, they just teach that. And so then the next piece that we wanted to bring to it was specifically showing people how to do the WildFit method. In other words, like the food timeline and the consciousness perspective and all of the things that go into the minimum opportunities to fail, the angel devil, like all of those coaching mechanisms, the speech patterns and all the stuff that we do that we consider to be the WildFit method that we teach you in the training program. And then what we wanted to do is provide a platform that, I'm going to use an acronym here, but it's called SaaS, or Software as a Service. In other words, we wanted to provide a platform so that our coaches wouldn't have to go out and build an entire education platform of their own. In other words, when I was first teaching WildFit classes, I had to say everything, right? There were no videos. I had to, every single week, I had to say all the same stuff all the time. And so the idea was to create a software as a service platform so that coaches would be spared having to do that, and they could focus on their highest value proposition, and that was the coaching and accountability and all that kind of stuff that they provide their clients. And that's ultimately what we decided to do when we created the original, the foundation of the coaching program. And then obviously once we got that started, we recognized that a lot of the people that wanted to be coaches, we had all kinds of different reasons. There are coaches who have become coaches who have never intended to coach a class ever. They had another practice. Like I remember, as an example, one of our very first coaches when I first learned this is a really famous health practitioner in Europe. She charges $400 an hour for a session, and she was never going to sell WildFit. She just wanted to learn all the techniques and so on so that she could use WildFit in her practice. Okay, that doesn't make her an ideal coach in a sense from our perspective, because it means she's not, bringing people into our community, and she's not, selling licenses or any of that kind of stuff. but she's still, out there helping people, and that's ultimately what the mission is about. And we have a number of health practitioners and also like professional coaches that use WildFit as an adjunct to their coaching career. And then we had other coaches that jumped in full steam, and they were already good at marketing, and they were good at personal branding, and they were able to get classes. Like I think one of our more recent coaches, in his practice class alone, he had 20 clients in his practice class. Hey, gregarious, charismatic, already good at marketing, can bring people in. And then we had coaches that were, kind of more struggling to, how do I brand myself? How do I market myself? How do I go out there and get clients? And so we started offering business builder programs and offering help with those things to try to support people in building those businesses. And we will continue to do those types of things. What has been challenging in the last little while, and what, some of the comments that we've seen more recently have to do with when we do strategic partnerships with larger companies like Mindvalley or Learning Strategies or Make Your Mark or any of the other, we've done a number of these sort of joint venture, strategic partnership type deals. Of course, the biggest one being Mindvalley, and how that has an impact on us. And man, this is a difficult thing. And I really am up for a discussion or, feedback on what you guys think is best about this. But, what I'm aware of is that we're in a weird position where when Mindvalley does a big campaign, we know that even at an HQ level, the initial impact of their campaign is that our sales drop off. Like for example, some of the people that would normally be buying the digital only package, which is substantially cheaper than what they are selling their package for, but people go, well, their marketing got them, and they go there and we see a sales drop off. But then as a result of the incredible blitz that they put out there, we see a major Google uptick, and then we see a major sales pickup. And so, it's one of those, like, it's a little bit of a chicken and egg issue of, are we getting more benefit or more harm by having their exposure and them going out and bringing clients? So there's been a couple of observations we've made about that. And, one of the things is that the WildFit Challenge, or let's call it the WildFit 90, the original 90-day program, we'd really like to see that as only one of the ways that our coaches are interacting with clients. That, in fact, I met today with the senior management team at Mindvalley, because what they've been asking if they could do is include coaching upsells. So when they have a class, they would like either to be able to sell coaching during the class or after the class. Like, somebody's finished the 90 days and now they want maybe they want a relationship with a coach going forward, and so on. So we see the idea we think the idea is to lower the barrier to entry, to make it more and more possible for people to go through the 90-day program, so that there is a larger WildFit community that will require coaching and handholding and membership and wanting to become coaches and wanting to consume products as we produce products and so on. And I recognize that for some of you that's caused some challenges where you've been working on, closing a client and then you've lost that sale. And I, like I said, I don't really know what the balance is, because I also know that many of you wouldn't even know about WildFit if it wasn't for Mindvalley. And so you can see how that creates a conflict of interest in terms of what is the best way going forward. One of the things that I think is really important, and we've reached an agreement with Mindvalley for the short term to try to iron this out, is that there shouldn't be a price competitiveness here. And what I mean by that is that the service that Mindvalley offers is substantially different from the service that any of you should be offering. And so as a result of that, we really shouldn't be in a place where they're like substantially trying to undercut what you guys should be selling at, or that you should be substantially. It shouldn't be about price. It should be about relationships. And so right now, when somebody has a choice of doing coaching, say with you, or coaching with Mindvalley, let's be clear what that choice is. When they do this with Mindvalley, there are some advantages, I suppose, that, they get a much larger sense of community, I suppose. Because there's so many more people in the class. Otherwise, the advantages to me lie on the other side of the table, because the chances of me or whichever coach is hosting that particular class actually interacting with any member is incredibly low. I've met here in Pula over the last few days, I've met countless WildFit clients that were in those large WildFit classes, and they never met me. Never once did they get to talk to me. Never once did they get coaching from me. And whereas when they're in a private class with you guys, they get that. They get the private hand holding and so on. And so I want to try and figure out what the right approach to handling that is, because I really view that what you guys are offering is relationship-based WildFit relationships with people. And what Mindvalley is, and I don't mean this in a derogatory way, Mindvalley does things at a high quality, but in a sense, Mindvalley is sort of the Walmart version where they can go and buy a case lot. They're not going to get the customer service. They're not going to get the coaching. They're there's the last class, I think there was something like 1,600 people in the class. So they're not going to get anything like personalized attention. So I just wanted to give you I'm not saying any of this is right or wrong. I'm just kind of telling you how we arrived at some of these, at some of these conclusions. The other thing is that, and I've talked to lots of my friends that have coaching certifications in different industries, health, personal coaching, business coaching, and so on. And of course, the 80-20 rule always seems to apply. And that is that 20% of your coaches will, bring in about 80% of the overall impact. And what we'd like to do is improve upon that dramatically in every way that we can, by providing business building tools, by providing marketing materials, by elevating the brand of WildFit so that it's recognizable. And this is one of the difficulties, because I can tell you that 2 years ago we had a call very much like this, because some of our coaches are saying it's really difficult for me out there because nobody knows what WildFit is, right? Like back then it was like I go talk to my friends. Now it's the other version of, people know what WildFit is, but now they have choices as to where they can get it. And I get that creates a bit of a conflict. And I'm not here to offer a solution. I'm offering background on how all this has transpired. What I can tell you is that, like right now, this minute, I don't know all the numbers. I think one of you asked for like specific numbers on how many people are selling what number of classes. This is what I can tell you from what the system tells us. Right now, as we're on this call, there are 250 clients that are in coached classes in this moment, in a spread of between 12 to 16 classes, because they start at different windows. But right now, they're in the system. There are 250 clients that are being coached by. This is not digital clients. This is not Mindvalley. This is just, there are 250 clients right now going through WildFit with one of you in some form or other, with some people coaching people on a one-on-one basis, and some people having as many people as 20 people in their classes. And I don't have those other split outs for you. But what it says to me is that there are some coaches that have some really good, solid best practices for how it is that they're attracting clients in. And there are other coaches that haven't figured out their best practices yet, or we haven't helped them figure that out yet, and we want to. And one of the things that I did, and I'm not going to, this is not about naming names or what have you, but I just went and took a look at a bunch of of all the WildFit coaches. I just randomly went out and looked at a bunch of your Instagram pages and your Facebook pages and so on. And I can tell you something, and that is that when I look at the coaches that are that have clients in their classes that are active, what I can tell you is that their branding is out there. Like their Instagram page shows that they're a WildFit coach. Like the color is there. They're posting before and after pictures. They're posting stories of their own experience. They're uploading videos of what it's like with their classes and stuff on their Facebook and then on their Instagram. And, and I think that's really important distinction. And I noticed that with some people, there's like one post in a month. And I don't know what the best practice for this is, because of course, if you're doing a post every 5 minutes, that's gonna overdo it for people. But if you're doing a post once in a month, that's probably not enough. Imagine that you meet somebody down at the local gym and you tell them, hey, I'm a WildFit coach. And then they go look at your page and they have to scroll down a month to find anything you talking about food or diet or, best diet practices or good recipe ideas or why you feel like you're so healthy. Like if you guys go look at my Instagram, the other day I'm over here working out and I post a video saying, hey, when I travel, I take my gym with me. I want them to know that health is my lifestyle, right? I want them to get that it's my lifestyle. And these are some of the observations that I think we need to share as a team. We need to find out when something's working really well for one person, wow, what is that? And as a team, share those things about. So I really want you to know that if there are things that are difficult or, that you are concerned about, I definitely do want you to know we listen to this stuff and we've taken it on board many times in the past, and we'll do the same now, and we'll attempt to find best practices. And at the end of the day, we are really clear that there are a number of missions that we're trying to achieve, and predominantly we want to radically improve the quality of life of 1 billion people on earth. We want to change the way they think about food. We want to change that. And if you think about what the knock-on effect of that is we want to have a really deep impact on food manufacturing and food legislation and food regulation. And what does that mean? Well, it means that we also want to have an impact on doctors and nurses and hospitals. And what does that also mean? It means that we want to build, we want our coaches to have sustainable, exciting careers, helping people turn those things around. And so, these are all the things that we're ultimately trying to achieve. And if we sidestep every now and again, if you feel like, I saw the other day at one of the quotes, that like partially made me smile and partially hurt a little. It's like that it appears like a 3-ring circus. Well, you know what? I definitely don't want it to appear that way. I definitely want it to appear organized. I definitely want it to appear congruent. I definitely want it to appear, I definitely want the heart and soul that I have always felt for WildFit and that I have felt for our clients deeply. And I want that to be translated through the message. And so one of the things I would love to put to you guys is that if you see marketing that you find, like I saw another comment, something about that the ads and comments were starting to make us look, disreputable in some way. I want you to know something. A comment like that is only so helpful. What's really helpful is give us the example. Take the screenshot and share it in the group and show us what you think is the difficulty or where you think an ad is not representing us well. And I will tell you, I've done that. I've done that before because as much as working with Mindvalley has been really rewarding for us, in the first year, all they ever did was brand us as a weight loss program. And I kept saying to them, you can't, and I showed them the screenshot. I say, you can't do that. And so I'm going to ask you guys to do the same thing. If you see marketing or you see an email or you see something that you feel is like off brand, that doesn't communicate the heart or doesn't communicate the message, then I challenge you, take the screenshot, share it in the Facebook group and give us your critique. It doesn't mean you're right, but it also doesn't mean you're wrong. And at the end of the day, the only way we're going to, kind of get somewhere is by sort of collaboratively approaching what the best impression we can make on the market is. So I wanted to share that stuff with you because for those of you who have been struggling with different things that we've been testing and trying, I really want you to know our intent is absolutely pure. Our intent is to help as many people as possible return to health, grab control of the relationship with food, and really have a big impact on the world. And at the same time, I want to make sure that we walk that line in a way that supports you guys in helping us achieve that mission. And so that's why that's why we do absolutely take your feedback seriously. And that's why ultimately we wanted to create this call for, just to be able to answer any questions that you guys have, and that we either, that we can, or to be able to hear the questions properly and go, wow, we can't answer that right now, but we hear it and we want to find a solution with it. And we want to find a solution for it and absolutely make it happen. So with that, you guys, most of you know Andrea. Andrea's the CEO of WildFit. It's clearly not me. Andrea really, let me put it this way. When things go well, it's really largely because Andrea has put a solid team together and built really good systems and procedures. And when things maybe go a little off sideways, I'll take credit for that because I sometimes want to move a little faster with stuff than maybe Andrea was ready for. And she does fight me on that. And so I just want you guys to know that Andrea absolutely has your back and is always listening to what you guys are saying. And also Andrea is a powerful entrepreneurial spirit. And so, she definitely has great ideas about what needs to happen to help you guys build great practices. And one last note, Andrea, I'm rambling. I'm sorry. I told you I'd be shorter, I know. But, I know that Andrea had really serious meetings with a good friend of ours here in Pula, a guy named Jason Goldberg. I don't know how many. Any of you guys familiar with Jason by chance? Jason is a phenomenal guy. And one of the things that he teaches is how to build a competition-proof coaching practice. And so we actually spoke with him about the kind of challenges that, that some of you have raised and the successes that some of you have also shared. And he has some really interesting thoughts about that. I'm hoping to do a Facebook Live with him later today if Facebook fixes the platform. And we're hoping to be able to bring him into the community and have him share more principles with you. We are absolutely interested in your success. Our success comes from your success and our client success comes from your success. So anyway, with all of that, I don't know if it helps a great deal or if it kind of gives you a sense of what it is that we're trying to build and how some of these things might have come apart. but I will turn this over to Andrea if there's anything you want to add, and I don't know how you want to facilitate beyond that, but it's your call now.
Thank you very much, Eric. And thank you for both the kind words, and lots of things go right because of you too. It's not just me. Certainly that's the case. Lots of things go right. So yeah, I guess with that said, we can open the floor to people who have like comments or questions. And we've got about 40 minutes to go over some, where we can just have an open conversation. I can answer one question immediately, which is Fiona asked on the side. I know pricing has been a bit of an issue. And so Fiona asked about a client doing the challenge for $297. If people start the 14-day reset and only through that funnel, they are offered the upgrade to video only for $297. So they can't get it any other way. It is not public on any website. And they don't get any video. They don't get any video support. They don't get any support with coaches. It is just go through the video program by yourself for $297, and it is video only.
And if I could add to that, this is part of a beta test that's been going on since December. So it's not broad spectrum advertising yet. It's very limited targeted audiences. And what we're doing is testing price points. And what we're trying to do with those price points is offer an upgrade where, I've discussed this with some of the coaches in different environments, but offer where if they buy that program, that they then, once they've bought that program, that they're then offered the opportunity to upgrade to add coaching, either by joining a coach class or by simply buying one-on-one coaching from the client directly, like from a coach directly. So the idea might be, I believe where we're trying to head to is that once we've identified what converts well, and by the way, what we're figuring out is like, what does it cost to buy traffic? What does it cost to convert the traffic? And then what is the client worth after that, which helps us figure out our ad buy. And so there's a couple of things we're trying to build with this. The one is that we would like that when somebody upgrades and they choose to buy the video only package, that we then offer them the opportunity to have a call with a coach, and that the coaches are able to take those calls and use those calls as a sales opportunity to turn them into long-term coaching clients. The other thing that we're doing with that funnel is we're working to create that funnel so that we can duplicate that funnel and hand it over to coaches so that they can run their own marketing campaigns and their own funnels with that funnel. So when we are building a funnel like that, what we're doing is we're optimizing the conversion language, the sales letter copy, the way the videos are presented, and so on. And so the idea then would be to be able to say, hey guys, anybody who would like like their own copy of this funnel in their own system, here you go, you can now have it. And just to put in perspective, like I don't know of any coaching certification, it's certainly not in the health space, that offers anything like that. The reason we ultimately want to do that is that, and incidentally, I don't know if you have a sense of what it costs to do a campaign like that, like to build it, but I can tell you that by the time we do the studio recordings, design the websites, buy the traffic, test the traffic, pay for all the labor involved in that, we're talking about $30,000 to $50,000. That's what it'll cost us to run those tests. But the idea is that once we've run those tests, we have a funnel that we know predictably works, that we can then copy and paste and give to any coaches that want to run their own internet marketing funnel systems. So and then secondly, as Andrea put, and I see in the comments that somehow that page is indexable. It shouldn't be. If it is, Google's indexing beyond the instructions on the website for them to be able to do that. But those price points are not offered publicly. And we want to offer the same thing to you, is that we don't think anybody should be, what we'd like to, we're working on let's call it a price ratification agreement. Like what should the consistent pricing offer be out there in the world after all the tests that we've done? And ultimately what we'd like to agree is that you, Mindvalley, us, that nobody offers Coach WildFit under a certain price publicly, but that everybody has the right privately to discount the way they would like to. They just don't advertise above that price. I'm not saying that's a good idea. We're contemplating something like that, and I would enjoy your feedback on those kind of ideas, because at the end of the day, what we don't want to do is have a bunch of people out there like simply competing on price. It isn't about that. What we want, if anything, I'd like you guys to brag about who's charging the most to get people into their clients. But I will tell you how to do that. The simplest way to do that is to get to a place where you are bigger than the brand. And that is the intention. That is what's supposed to happen, is that you through your own social media, through your own email campaigns, through your own newsletters, through your own video uploads, are supposed to be, or should be creating a following. And so that the people go, oh, look, it's not that they're doing WildFit, it's that they're working with Pamela, who's WildFit certified. And that is kind of the energy that we're hoping to create. Sorry, Pamela, for picking on you. The only reason I picked on you is I saw your cool branding on the back wall, which I liked, so I had to pick on you. Andrea, back over to you.
I know, and I know that Pamela's been working with Jason also.
Yeah,
she has been. She's been working with Jason and got really clear on her target market, got really clear on her inception story as to how she ended up as a WildFit coach. And I know she's rocking it on the back end over there too. And Julie, to answer your question also, there's no Facebook group on any of those classes. So they are completely solo, which incidentally is something else we were testing because we weren't really sure if people would get the same results without the community. And they do get better results. Like, we really do prefer that they have community and they get better results. They do still get some results with the video though. Like, it's absolutely best when they work with a coach. I think long-term, it's the best thing somebody can do. And they are getting results with the video only as well, which is why we've continued to do it. Numi, I see your hand is up. Do you want to do that? And let me just address finally, Eric, that page that came up. It shouldn't be indexed by Google. So that again might be something that's not set right with Google, or that Google's seeing it, but it's only on a thank you page after people purchase. All right, go for it, Numi.
Yeah, hi. My questions are more general and not directly linked with the questions Diane brought up, but I'm kind of interested to hear how WildFit, the WildFit vision for the WildFit program, and how you want to see it, your brand represented. Do you understand my question, or is it too confusing?
Yeah, I don't understand it. What are maybe?
No, the WildFit brand. How do you want to see it represented? You know, how do you want? What do you want people to think of when they think of WildFit, and the WildFit overall vision?
Maybe I can address that if you like.
Yeah, go for it.
So, Numi, this is a really interesting conversation. Andrea and I spent a week in a very intensive brand messaging meeting with one of the founders of Zumba. It was an incredible privilege. He's a client of ours. And after doing the WildFit Challenge, he wrote to me and he said, I believe that you are about to do to the diet industry what Zumba did to the fitness industry, and I'd like to help you do it. And so he invited us. He does if you have a business and you want him to help you with your brand consulting, bear in mind that he helped build a brand so good that people tattoo it on their body, right? He's good at what he does. He helped build $1 billion brand. And so we went and sat with him for a week going through what we believe WildFit is and what we believe the frequency of it is. And I can tell you that ultimately the frequency of WildFit, which you will start to see represented more in a new logo design and all that kind of stuff that's in development. But the frequency of WildFit is about freedom and weightlessness. And I don't mean weightlessness relative to weight. I just mean, like, there's this moment, guys, there's this moment that we're going to teach you about, and we call it the 0 point. And the 0 point is, like, the best way to describe it is like when a whale jumps out of the water and there's this point where it's moving up, and there's the point at the top where it just stops, where it's not going up or down. And that's where it's purely weightless. And that moment is very much like the moment when somebody suddenly realizes they don't want to eat pizza anymore. That's the 0 point where the food angel and the food devil aren't arguing anymore. And so what we want to do is communicate that feeling in the brand. That feeling of weightlessness, that feeling of no pressure, that feeling of personal liberty, that feeling of joy. That's the frequency. And I'm not probably saying it as eloquently as we will once we've refined it for marketing, but I hope that, you know, I'll give you another example. It's like a bird is flapping really, really hard to get up into the sky, and then there comes this point where it doesn't have to flap anymore. That's the 0 point. And so what we want to do is we want to start building that language into our marketing, into our coaching, that there's this moment when ice cream was calling to you, and it's calling to you, and then it's calling a little quieter, and it's calling a little quieter. And then there comes this moment where somebody offers you ice cream and you go, without any effort, you just go, no, I don't want that. That's the 0 point. Freedom, weightlessness, joy, that moment. That's what the brand is all about.
Mm-hmm. What I'm more thinking about is also in order to make it a bit easier for us to understand where you are going and how we can continue with the WildFit and link our coaching with WildFit or market it as WildFit and not just as our own program. We have talked about the customer values earlier, and this is also, it is somehow linked to costs as well, right? What the clients get from WildFit, how much is it worth, and also WildFit overall vision with this. Where are you heading, and what is the client's value in this? Because, as the prices are decreasing all the time, and we talked about it as, there is this point when value and price is the ultimate value for price, right? When the lines are crossing. But as the prices are decreasing all the time, and to sell it as a high-end brand doesn't really coincide anymore. So this is also something, where do you see this going? And this is also, what is WildFit vision in this area? I'm not sure that I can express what I'm thinking in a proper way so you understand it.
No, I think I kind of understand. Maybe it's not, maybe you'll find a way to make it even clearer, but I think I kind of understand. And so let me kind of put it this way. Okay. If we leave WildFit as this super high-end premium brand, then what that does is create something called a buying restriction, or creates a buying filter. In other words, there are some people who just can't afford to do it, or there are some people who just won't do it because it's just outside of the market representation of what they believe they can pay for a program. And so, of course, that causes some difficulty for us. One way to handle that is culturally. In other words, something none of you have to worry about is the fact that you can buy WildFit in the Russian language for about $200. But you know what? In Russia, that's the same as $1,500, right? That's just the way it works. But it doesn't interfere with any of us because our clients don't speak Russian. And so, and even if they do speak Russian, they'd have to kind of be in Russia to get that marketing, and it doesn't interfere. So in the meantime, in the English-speaking world, which is, most of us are operating within the English-speaking world, or the English adjunct world. So then the question starts becoming is this a high-end premium brand, or is the, what is the product? What ultimately is the frequency? And Lumi, I think what I would like to suggest is that as coaches, some of you are primarily focused on the WildFit challenge, on the actual 90 days as your relationship with the client. In other words, you're focused on, I'm going to have a 3-month relationship with the client. And what I would really like to see is a transition because what we're hearing from our clients when we meet them a year later is they're like, wow, I've really got it, but I just can't seem to push myself to go back into spring. I haven't gone backwards, but I haven't gone forwards, or I've slipped a little bit, or, and so what we're hearing from a lot of our clients is that they actually want continuity. They want a relationship. They want somebody to help them. They're beginning to recognize that having a coach long-term would be helpful. So I don't have any numbers on this for you because we're so early in testing it, but let's imagine that 1 in 3 clients decided that they would like to have a 1-hour coaching session with a coach once a month for 2 years after they finish the WildFit Challenge. Okay, that's pretty interesting because that creates a 2-year coaching relationship for the coach with the client and so on. But if WildFit costs $1,500 and therefore one campaign only generates 10 clients, then that means that creates only 3 coaching clients. On the other hand, if WildFit was $150, that same campaign might have turned into 100 clients, which would then turn into 30 coaching clients. Do you understand what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's part of what we're trying to figure out is we have to take a look at what the lifetime value of the client is in terms of our ability to service them. So you guys are early in the overall business. We're still basically a startup. We've been at this, I ran the business as a hobby for about 2 years, and about 3 years ago, we started running it like a company. So, for example, we don't currently have Alka-Geyser smoothies for you to sell. We don't currently, we have some apparel. There's no real money in selling apparel. We've only just now got a membership program where you can create for yourself recurring revenue. And of course, we put a commission basis on WildFit coaches and so on. So what that means is that there's a number of different income trails, a number of different income opportunities that come off the back of the WildFit Challenge. So, for example, if somebody came along to me, and matter of fact, I was recently approached, and I won't mention any names at the moment because I'm under an NDA about it, but I was recently approached by a private organization that wanted to put WildFit on their platform for like $97. They didn't want to do any coaching. They didn't want anything. They just simply want the videos on their platform. But they told us that they probably could put something like 500,000 people a year through the platform. Okay, that's interesting, right? That's interesting. So what do we do about that? Because clearly some of the people that go through that platform might have been premium clients that would have been prepared to pay $1,000 to go through the program handheld with a coach as a premium product. And so we might lose some of them. But at the same time, if even 1 in 10 of those people decides they want to become a member, decides they want to hire a coach to support them in an ongoing capacity, these people incidentally are very predisposed toward hiring coaches because they already have fitness coaches and so on. Then at that point, we have to take a look and go, whoa, hang on a minute. We could suddenly create a massive market for post-challenge coaching for our entire certified coaching team by doing one deal. But that deal would mean opening the price up at a price point that we're not currently prepared to offer that. I don't know the answer to this. I don't know what the right step to do at that point is because and partly what we're doing right now is testing some things so we get an idea of what the numbers are. In other words, what is the conversion to coaching? Because then it allows us to make that decision in a more informed kind of a way. So Numi, I'm sure this doesn't actually answer your question, but I hope it gives you some idea of how the fact that we do have this question and it's something we're desperately trying to find the answer to.
Okay, thanks. I'm asking these more general questions for me because I'm not coaching in English, and I have a totally different goal with my coaching in local languages instead. So I don't feel that affected by this topic, but I'm really interested in where WildFit is heading from HQ point of view. So I'll leave it at that and leave the word to everybody else.
Thanks very much. All is good. It's a good question.
Okay, let's go to pooling first. I see you have your hand up.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Okay. Yeah. Have I unmuted myself? Can you hear me?
You're good.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I just have a few questions. Basically, it's mostly related to My Valley. I was the very first batch who joined the My Valley Global Challenge in September 2016. And after that, I think WildFit will run a global challenge with My Valley about 2 times a year. And sometimes I have friends who join the global challenge with My Valley and they have good result. And if they want to refer some friends to go for WildFit, I will say, oh, go to the global challenge, go to our WildFit HQ and join the group challenge, right? But right now what I see is because of the My Valley WildFit Quest, they are running every month. So if anyone has a good result, they will just refer their friend and go back to the My Valley. And we will have a loss of new clients to our WildFit HQ and to our coaches pool. So this is my concerns. And if you look at the statistic, right, roughly, just look at the My Valley Facebook group. The My Valley Quest average, they can get around 150 people. Okay, when they run the My Valley Global Challenge, you can get easily 1,500, 1,800 people, right? And this is so much volume compared to, I think, even when HQ run the Global Challenge, right? So is this one of the reasons that WildFit HQ is not running any group challenge anymore?
No, that's not why we don't do the group challenge.
Okay.
We stopped doing we stopped doing the group challenges because we felt like we were competing directly with coaches. And
Okay.
so the only reason that we do group challenges now is on a joint venture, a private joint venture. So if one of my, like, say for example, like Jack Canfield recently did WildFit and he's a big fan. And let's say he came to me and said, Eric, I would like you to coach a private class for my clients. In that case, we might do an HQ group, but it wouldn't be publicly advertised. It would be advertised through a private marketing campaign to his list. Does that make sense?
Okay. Okay. Good.
So, and then the first issue you brought up, can you remind me the first thing you said?
Yeah, I talk. Initially, I think WildFit will do a global challenge with My Valley like 2 times a year, right? And then we'll have some spillover effect. Yeah. So if there's any client, they have great result and they would like to refer. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and so here's something, and this is both good and bad depending on how you look at it. Mind Valley, you cannot become an affiliate, and I'm up for talking to Mind Valley about this, but you cannot become an affiliate for Mind Valley unless you have a mailing list of at least 10,000 people. They're very fussy about their affiliates. The reason being is that managing affiliates is a pain in the butt, frankly. And so they don't want to manage a bunch of affiliates who are only sending them 3 sales in a month or what have you. The bad news about that is that that's why it's difficult for you guys when some of you have expressed an interest in being a Mind Valley affiliate, because why not make money when they sell the challenge, right? But then the other side of this is that it also means that their clients cannot become affiliates, but they can become affiliates of our system, and they do. We know that many times they can't be an affiliate. And then they go find it. We don't advertise it because I think that wouldn't be morally right for us to go to the mind. Hey, you can't be an affiliate there. Why don't you join? But they find it anyway. And they become an affiliate. So, for example, if you have a friend that does WildFit, if you have a client that does WildFit on the platform, and now they want to become an affiliate, well, the very best thing you can do is get them to sign up as an affiliate on our platform, and so they're actually generating business that ultimately goes back to into the pool of the coaches here. Yeah. So that is the thing that we'd like ultimately to work out. But again, what I really want to focus on here, and what I'd like to do anyway, is I'd really like to get us to a point where the WildFit Challenge is the smallest income line for any coach, and that the ongoing coaching and personal relationships and merchandise, or like food sales and membership, ongoing membership sales and all that stuff, produces far more income than ever anybody would create from the WildFit Challenge on its own. Because frankly, I'd love to get to a place one day where the cost of doing the WildFit Challenge, like let me put it another way. I'd like one day to be able to write a book where basically the WildFit Challenge is in the book and people can read the book and hire a coach. And so, in any event, I hope that helps a little, Pooling. Thank you.
Yeah.
Eric, can I just add to that a little bit? Pooling, one of the things that I think is really important for all of you as coaches is to view that as a huge opportunity. If you have people out there talking about WildFit saying, I got great results, and you could also go do WildFit, the next words out of the WildFitter doer's mouth should be, and you should go find a coach. My friend Pooling is one. And the only way people are going to know that you are a coach is if you are talking about it daily, all over the place, on social media, when you're at the grocery store, when you're at, social circles. Like, it needs to be something that oozes out of your pores on a regular basis and oozes out of everything that you do, so that people automatically think, yes. And if you want to speak to somebody who knows everything about WildFit, you need to go speak to the WildFit coach in my local area who's this person. And I think that's where that partly answers Numi's question too, which is that's what we want WildFit to be. Where on every corner there is somebody who is a WildFit advocate that can help shepherd somebody through the WildFit way of living, and where the WildFit 90 challenge is only the first 90 days of the last diet they ever do. That WildFit is the last diet they will ever do. Like, I don't know about how many of you are like this, but I don't even see diet books in grocery stores, in Costco. The only reason I ever see them is if I'm doing like competitive analysis, where I'm looking at them to see what's in them, not because I'm studying them to see what we would like to maybe great best practices. But that's what WildFit is. Every single time, like, you guys are all know that it's the last diet anyone ever goes on. And so you want to be put out there where the next thing people think about when they think about WildFit is you. And that it's not just about going and Googling it, but talk to my friend Puling, she's a coach. And that's what really, and I know that like Pamela has been so active on her social that right away, even when I think of a WildFit coach, Pamela's face comes to my mind. And I know you all personally. Like, I've been in Africa with some of you, and still she's one of the first faces that comes to my mind because she's doing Facebook Lives. She's on all the time. She's continuously posting. So that's adds to you. We actually want, we want Mindvalley raising the brand of WildFit so that it makes it easier for you to be the face of it.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah,
actually,
like,
that is one. Just go ahead, Eric.
Thanks, Puling. Two quick comments. This is kind of interesting. So Justine just wrote, just as a random thing here, I haven't taught WildFit a lot because I'm still working to see how it fits within my current coaching program. But she says, however, I always get WildFit inquiries when Mindvalley runs their campaigns. My page offers a WildFit inquiry, and then I speak with them about it. See, here's something you guys need to know. Mindvalley is like a big ship, so it takes them a long time to turn corners. They're things that just take them longer to do. So I don't know if any of you have ever written to Mindvalley's help desk, but does anybody know what their guaranteed turnaround time on their help desk is? Anybody know? It's 4 days. That's their help. That's what they say. We'll get to you back within 3 days or 4 days or something like that. Our help desk is something like 24 hours. And what Justine's pointing out here is that because she's got an inquiry feature on her page, when people are out there, they're getting brand recognition, and then Justine's getting people right into her going, hey, can you tell me about WildFit? And I know that many people come to me and go, I've been watching the Mindvalley marketing for 3 years before I finally signed up. Like, a lot of people do not sign up when they first see it. They watch it for years and years. You know what would have made the difference? If they bumped into one of you. If they bumped into you at a grocery store, if they bumped into you online, if they bumped into you on Facebook because they saw on your feed. Now, I have a question for you guys, and I'm not sure my video feed is up for this answer. What I mean is I want to see hand raising. So maybe, Andrea, I don't know if your video feed is working better than mine, but here's what I'd like to know. I really am curious, like, how many of you are posting something fun or interesting or valuable in the nutrition space that indicates that you are a health expert, that you're trying to help people with health, whether it's branded WildFit or not? How many of you are doing that at least once a month? At least once a month. Andrea, I can't see, my screen's frozen, so it would be helpful if you could help me.
I can see from people who have their cameras on. Oh.
I'll tell you what, can you guys do this in the chat? How many, here's the easier one. What I'd like to know is, are you doing it at least once a month, once a week, once a day? Like, how often are you posting content about health, food psychology, nutrition that would allow somebody to come to you and WildFit, that would allow somebody to come to you and go, oh, look, certified WildFit coach who's interested in food and nutrition. Can you guys post in the chat? And I'd love to know currently what your frequency is, because I'm curious to see how,
Right.
Okay, cool. So I'm getting it's quite a spread. There's a lot of different versions here of, like from every day to not yet to a few times a month or what have you. Now, guys, I'm not pretending I know what the optimal thing here is. What I believe is appropriate is daily. That's what I believe. I believe that some daily thing about food psychology, about a cool recipe, about a WildFit success story, and by the way, I started doing this myself. I wasn't doing it. I started doing it myself, where when somebody like posted a WildFit success story, I would copy it into my Instagram story, and I have a link that I like a link that allows me to track the clicks. And if any of you guys want to know how to do that, it's really simple. You just go to like any of the link that you just find what's called a link shortener, like tiny URL. They compress links, and find one that has a click counter in it. They're really easy to set up. And so what I do is I have a link that has a click counter set up in it. So then when I do these stories, I can actually see how many times people are clicking. And you know what's really crazy is Andrea, we did that 14-day campaign, and I did a bunch of stories on the Sunday night of the campaign, and ended up generating about half of the leads, half of the conversions that went into that particular campaign. Now, I know, guys, I'm me. I have a lot of following. I'm not trying to suggest it's that easy, What I'm saying is that in every other week, I wasn't generating any because I wasn't posting this information. I wasn't making it my profile. How many of you are currently like, you've listed yourself as a WildFit coach on LinkedIn? Like it's like in your job title, I'm a WildFit coach, or that I help people change their relationship with food or something like that. How many of you have done that? Okay, cool. I can tell you right now, that's incredibly important to do. If you guys want to really understand how to do it, you know what, Andrea, you know what'd be really good is to find if Jade has worked with one of the WildFit coaches to see somebody who's done it by best practice. But I want you guys to know, and I don't know if you're like this, but when I meet somebody new and they write to me, when they want to sell me something, the first place I go look for them is LinkedIn, because LinkedIn's their resume. So the first thing I do is I go look on LinkedIn. Well, I can tell you that for some of you, if you told me you're a WildFit coach and then I went to your LinkedIn page and I didn't see anything there about you being a WildFit coach, I'm not interested. You know, I'm not interested. Teresa, totally fair comment. I'm not asking any of these questions out of any judgment. I'm just curious because I'm really curious. And Jason Goldberg really stimulated my thought process on this, that what the consumers want to know is that you're dedicated, that you are focused, that you know your stuff, that you have credibility and authority. Anyway, Andrea, sorry, I told you it's not good if I'm on the call. I talk too much.
All good. All good. Good. Puling, did you have more questions? Yeah, go for it. And then I'm going to go to Sarah.
But okay, good. So regarding just now, we should actually really encourage My Valley clients who have gone through the WildFit, right, to join our HQ affiliate or the ambassador program, because I see them a lot of the discussion, whether for the My Valley WildFit group or from the WildFit community, clients from who went through the WildFit through My Valley, they don't really know about our ambassador program, and they just refer their friends back to My Valley again. So this is one thing I see. And another things like the WildFit Quest, right? I joined the My Valley Life Boot Quest as well. So it was like the WildFit Quest. So there's no life coaching, it's all pre-recorded coaching. But in that program, they don't even have a life boot coach there. They only have a facilitator from the My Valley and also 2 life book mastery graduate or the student who is going to the life book mastery program, that they are there to encourage the current life book quest member to, you know, proceed to the more advanced life book program. So what I understand right now for our My Valley WildFit Quest, we do put our WildFit coaches in there, and they are doing it for free. For what I understand, for exposure and experience. So when will they get paid? And for those My Valley clients who is going through WildFit, do we encourage them to seek for private coaching when they face any roadblocks or need additional help?
Yeah, I can answer that. So yes, we encourage, the coaches that are in their coaching in the groups are getting paid. Some of them are on a trial basis because we're not sure how much it's going to, like how much effort it's going to take. There's these smaller groups and we're not clear, so they are getting paid. We're just not sure how much. Number 2, we do encourage them to reach out to a coach and get private coaching if it goes beyond just high level coaching. Because if somebody buys WildFit through the Mind Valley Quest, they're not paying for private coaching and they're not paying for one-on-one intense coaching. So we've got a really fine line of, if it goes too deep, that the coach just says, you know what, this sounds like something you need one-on-one coaching, please find a coach, and gives them a link over to the Find a Coach page. And we're really careful about that.
Yeah, okay, that's very good. So how are you going to rotate some of the certified coaches to be in the My Valley WildFit Quest group, or how is the selection?
Right now, we've selected a number of coaches that are super active doing other things that are certified, and that's who's coaching in those groups. And yes, over time, that's a bit of
ultimately.
Oh, go ahead.
Ultimately, Puling, when we're looking for people to coach at an HQ level, what we're looking for is we use something called Net Promoter Scores. So like when we survey clients at the end of the class and we look at their we look at the ratings that they get from their class. How happy were the clients? So I can tell you that the baseline, when we do a large scale class that's coached by a senior coach and me, then we aim for an NPS score of about between 65 and 70. To put this in perspective for you, the iPhone is a very popular product and it has an NPS score of 61. We actually have a higher customer service rating than the iPhone does. In other words, what that means is that our clients are more inclined to talk about WildFit with their friends than iPhone users are inclined to talk about their iPhones. That's a big deal for us. And so when we're selecting coaches for the classes, what we're predominantly looking for is coaches that are producing the highest NPS scores out of their own private classes, that they're getting the highest level. Now, I realize this kind of causes a problem because some of you might be thinking, well, Hal, I'm having a hard time getting my class going, so how can I get an NPS score? So how can I get over here? And yet life is chicken and egg like that sometimes. But I just want you to know that that ultimately our criteria for picking coaches for that kind of stuff is how do their clients feel about them?
Okay, good. So so I just have one last question. So it was actually just today I was using an app to shop around for some gym membership. And I went to a very top-end health club here, and the fee was the highest in the app, was like 50-something pounds per month, right? But I can actually go to a few gym, and then I can choose the ultimate I want, and I can sign up for their fee, sign up to be their member. But last year, I checked the app, the price was much lower, right? Even that include the high-end health club. So today when I went in, I asked about why there's such a price difference. And right now the health club is actually offering a lower price than the app, because I talked to the marketing manager and he told me they raised a complaint because they have a hard time trying to sell their own gym membership using their own channel and medium, because the app is selling much cheaper than them. So they actually feedback to the app and increase their price. So I think this is one of the problems we are facing now. As some of us are working it as part-time, some of us are working as full-time. So we do find a hard time trying to compete ourselves with MyValley and other means of WildFit. So I don't know how we can move forward. And I recall in the very initial coaching certification recruit video, you give us a financial model where we can sell our coaching class for more than $1,000. And it's hard for us to imagine right now. Maybe we need to put more value added service, but it's just a bit difficult for us now to think of other creative ideas to make us more competitive compared to MyValley and other people.
So, Huling, I understand that, and I understand it, but I don't completely agree with it. And what I mean is this: that when we start, remember, you need to remember something. When I created WildFit, there was no market representation, there were no testimonials, there was no proof, there was no MindValley, there was no medal from the Canadian government, there was nothing. I wasn't a doctor. All I was a guy that could create results for people, and we were selling WildFit all the time at $1,500 5 years ago. $1,500, and sometimes at events we would discount it down to $1,100 or something like that. But it was consistent, and that's when we had no market impact of any kind. When MindValley does their campaigns, they typically sell the program for about $900, and they sell it for $900 without the same level of I do 4 calls. What we recommend to you guys on live calls is you're doing 3 live calls in the first week, 3 live calls. It's a completely different offering. So I recognize now that it doesn't look so different, but it really, really is. And one of the issues is for those of you who have done any of our inception marketing classes, right? One of the things we teach in inception marketing is that you should be setting the buying criteria. What that means is you have to build enough credibility and authority within your audience. So your audience looks to you and says, you're a credible, authoritative person, because I can see from your social media, I can see from your LinkedIn, I can see from your Instagram that you think about food a lot, that you've helped people get results. I can see that you're a serious person. And then that puts you in a place where you have credibility and authority. And so then when you have the opportunity to talk to them about what kind of health plans you should go through, you should be able to say to them, well, there's a number of different either health plans that you can go through, or there's a number of different ways you can do WildFit. We have large scale classes that you can do where you have to share one coach with 1,000 people. There are only 5 live calls on the class. There's a huge, messy, loud Facebook group. That's one way you can do it. And it's one of the cheaper ways you can do it. It's $1,000. The way cheaper way to do it is you just do it on video completely by yourself. You don't get any support. There's no Facebook group. And you can do it then for about $400. What I suggest to you is the way you're going to get the very best results is when you've got a small elite group of clients that you're going through the challenge with together. Well, you really get to know them and get to connect with them. It's one of the core components of transformation. And that you get personalized coaching, that you actually get to work with a coach where you're going to get to speak to that coach personally every single week through the course of your challenge. Now, obviously, that's a little bit more money than the $900 for the Walmart version of this. But it's not a lot more money because we share it across. And by the way, what some of you should be considering is, what would you charge to do one-on-one coaching? Because I'll tell you what we did. We've stopped doing this because I won't offer it anymore. But we started offering, if somebody wanted one-on-one coaching with me, this is before WildFit was famous or anything, not that it's famous now, but before WildFit had the exposure that it had. And we used to offer private coaching with me at $5,000. Yes, if you want to work with me, it's $5,000. Guys, that's not that much money. It's $1,500 a month of coaching. That's reasonable personal coaching money. But the fact is that we use that as a way to see the contrast of, look, but you know what? Why pay $5,000 to work with me personally when you can share me with 7 people and each pay $1,500 and get all the same personal touch and get community and so on. And I think that's something you need to be really clear about. Like, there are a lot of health and diet programs out there. They don't work. This actually works. And it works best when the client has a coach, when the client has somebody holding their hand. And the only reason that the client's going to see you as a credible person to hold their hand is when they see you as credible because you're talking about it, because you're posting about it, because your LinkedIn says you're excited about it. And then that's what's going to get them to go, this is the person that I ultimately want to work with.
Yep.
I saw somebody asking about how do you get your NPS scores. Guys, it's not about turning this into some big competition. We don't measure NPS scores until there are basic customer service scores that we look at. And then once we're paying attention to a coach, then because doing the NPS scores is it takes overhead. We don't just automatically do it. We do normal customer survey stuff. And if somebody's getting high ratings, then what we'll do is we'll activate NPSs and start measuring NPSs for somebody because we're contemplating them as an HQ coach. We don't automatically measure NPS. We will eventually do that when there's a budget that goes into the reason being is that it's not an automatically calculated thing. It's a formula that is run through a certain set of questions. So it's not something we do by default. We first are just doing basic surveying. And by the way, the only way you'll really hear from us currently, and maybe we'll find a way to make this public, but the only way you'll currently hear from us is if we feel like your score is low, in which case we're going to come to you and say, hey, your customer feedback scores are low at the moment. Let's take a look at how we can improve those things for you. As we get better at that, as we automate that more, yes, perhaps we will be in a position to be able to say, hey, here's your score from this class and here's your score from the next class. And Andrea, the other thing we could do, because we don't always see the clients directly, is we could probably share the NPS system with the coaches so that they could do their own NPS valuations of their classes.
Eric, I actually read all of the NPSs about once a week. I go through that form, and I see Brenda asked for the questions. So yes, Brenda, I can give you the questions from the form, but I can also give you guys the link to the form.
Okay, cool. Maybe it's further along than I thought it was.
And awesome. You could fill it in. I think that I could give you, I have to think this through. But Brenda, I can give you the questions. Potentially, I can even give you guys the link to the form, and you can drop it in your groups in week 13 and prompt your people to go and fill it out, because obviously not everybody fills it out. We know how it's a lot to get a client to fill out a feedback form. It takes their time, and time is one of our most valuable currencies. So it's not something that we get from every single client. It's only from some. If you guys were to start asking for it, though, I think we would get more of them from people.
So if you ask your Andrea, when somebody finishes a class, they're by default going to get the questionnaire?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, but it's in their email. So
okay.
if you were actually, what I'm suggesting
would be really useful. Sorry, go ahead, Andrea.
I was going to say what I'm suggesting is if the coaches were to have the link, they could also put it in the Facebook group and ask for the feedback so that it all populates in the same form. And that way they get prompted into places because people don't see all communication that comes at them.
Yes. So yeah, that more or less is what I was going to say, is that if you guys could prompt them to complete those surveys, it would help, because an NPS score is only as accurate as the number of people. Like if you have one person that gives you 10 out of 10s on everything, but you had 8 people in the class, that's not an NPS that's not a high NPS. It's a difficult thing to do. And if you get at least half of your clients completing the survey, then the numbers are more realistic. So anything you can do, if you can share the link with people, they will get an email offering a survey. And so if you can encourage them, I don't know if you've had this when you call United Airlines and the person says, oh, by the way, there's a customer survey after, would you please answer it? If you just could kind of, maybe encourage them to answer, it'll help us get you a more accurate NPS.
Okay, I'm going to let Sarah go and ask her questions. Thanks, Pooling.
Yeah, thanks.
I'm just starting my coaching business, so I do understand that we're all doing this because WildFit works. We can impact other people's lives, and I know it's not about the 90-day challenge, but for somebody like me, I'm still starting the coaching business. It has to be about the 90-day first. And I've been finding difficulty with all these variables that keep changing. I did my Mind Valley's WildFit program, and it was super. And I tell you, until today, when I coach clients, I've coached 15 so far, I feel bad for them because the Mind Valley platform and app, is more user-friendly. It has capabilities the regular platform does not have. It has recordings from all the previous coaching that took place. So sometimes as a client, I would not need more coaching because I've seen questions by 3 or 4 other groups. It's probably enough for me to understand. And you will find your questions within these 2 or 3 recordings every week or twice a week. So I think the Mind Valley platform is the best thing that happened to WildFit. The exposure, the publicity. I live in the Middle East and I keep losing clients because of Mind Valley. I had so many friends sign up with me. The minute they see that I'm doing WildFit for $900, and I lost several clients because in February, Mind Valley did it for $600. So they left me and went Mind Valley. In January, the same thing. They left me and went with Mind Valley because it's $800. And not $900. I know that I will learn to compete with Mind Valley, but I'm just saying that it's not a fair competition to start with. For somebody that's establishing a coaching business, in addition, the signing up of new coaches. I've pushed a lot of people to sign up and become coaches as well. Whoever I saw, they've had good results. Passionate about helping people, I've pushed them to become coaches, and I realized that now I signed up last year in November, and we got 12 licenses for free with signing up to become coaches, while the batch that signed up in June are getting 75 licenses for free. So I feel that everywhere I turn, my business model is failing, and I'm really trying. I'm here on this call to get some answers. If the prices can at least be announced beforehand, if I can know that Mind Valley will not go under $600, I can start, establishing my business and drawing my path, because I will always face this. I provide, even if I go down to 600 or 700, if Mind Valley is going to go to 400, I'm going to lose clients. And if you're putting new coaches in the program and they're getting 75 free licenses, they can afford dropping down the prices and going for $300 or $200 because these licenses are for free. Meanwhile, we only got 12 licenses for free. So you see what I'm saying? I feel there's as a starting coach, I don't have stability because of things like that.
Hey, Sarah, I just want to clear one thing up with that. The new coaches didn't get 75 licenses for free. What they were granted were 3 months, and everybody has access to the coaching membership now, so that you can put more clients through for way less of there are no more license fees, right? It's just the monthly access to being able to put clients through the program. And the new coaches got 3 months of that included in what they were doing in their upfront fees. So they didn't get 75 licenses. They got the ability to put 75 people through within those first 3 months of them being
They can carry that number.
Coach.
They can carry that number. I've asked, and I've seen the
I
email.
understand.
Yeah.
Yes,
So they have 75 licenses for free.
They have 3 months, which is 75 licenses. And if you do 3 months of the 197, you also have 75 licenses that you can put, you have 75 times you can put clients through into the 90-day challenge. So they didn't get a blank. We made it cheaper for everybody. So we actually made it more cost effective for all the coaches to be able to put people into the 90-day challenge. And we took away most of the most of the cost for you as coaches to be put people into the 90-day challenge. So it's not the same model. Go ahead, Eric.
Yeah. So Sarah, I understand the appearance that it creates, but there were two things that happened at once. And if you only look at one of them, it looks like they got 75 free licenses and you didn't. And I appreciate that. What happened is that over the last, about 2 years ago, we did one single campaign. And that campaign was to lower the prices of licenses down to $100 a license. And we did that campaign for a short window of time, and we got feedback from coaches that they really liked it, and it spurred them on into action. And so we didn't ever increase the price back up to the $300 mark. This, and as we did that, we started trying to take a look and go, wow, what we want to do is create a fully lubricated system where the coaches, because too many of the coaches were thinking like, a client costs me money. A client costs me money. And so what we wanted to do is lubricate that system so that coaches could basically, it would be like pretty close to free for them to put somebody through the platform. And so that's when we created the membership model instead of buying licenses. That I think it's at $197 a month. You get, you can have 25 clients a month without having to pay any license fee at all. So so we then gave them the 3 months. So we basically gave them about a $600 credit. Now, obviously, when we lowered the price for licenses, we did that for everybody. And so when we gave them a credit, we gave them effectively a $600 credit, right? 3 months of that membership. When you signed up, licenses were officially $300 a license, although probably actively at $100 at that point. And so when you were given those 12 licenses, you were given a $1,200 credit. So now, none of that changes. The ultimate thing that you're saying is that when we lower the license fees as much as that, it empowers a coach arguably to be able it empowers a coach arguably to be able to sell the program for a lot cheaper than they should be. Ideally, I don't want that, guys. Like, I know somebody sent me this website I saw in the comments here. Somebody selling the completely coach program at $400. I don't want that. I don't want that at all. And the weird problem is, and as Alex put earlier, on one level, there's some big advantages with just, not having a set controlled price, because many of you will end up, creating personal brands for yourself. That'll mean, why would you be restricted to a price? In other words, you'll be able to charge a premium. And we have clients that have done that have built WildFit into their coaching practices. And so they're not charging a direct amount for this, but they're charging a larger fee for a 3-month period that includes WildFit. So ultimately what we wanted to do is create this situation where you had complete price flexibility. What we now want to do is put an agreement that there is a minimum public price that you can offer WildFit for, that you cannot offer it below that public price. That doesn't mean you can't offer a discount to your friend privately, but it means you can't go out there and advertise, that's our intention anyway, say you can't go out there and publicly advertise the price below this, below this amount. And Sarah, yes, what we're working with Mindvalley is getting to a place where it's really clear what they sell the program at, so that we don't have a moving goalpost. They have occasionally, let's say in their eagerness to test things, they've occasionally tested things without actually voicing those things with us in advance, and that's not always been ideal. And that's one of the things that we've been working with them on, is getting clear that those tests have to be cleared with us and that prices have to be set with us. Lisa, we've been looking at this, what should that price point be? And as Mind Valley typically wants to sell their large mass sort of like Walmart version of the class at about $900, we figure that we should create a price ceiling of $900, or a price floor, I should say, of $900, that we shouldn't be advertising any form of the coached program for under $900. It just shouldn't be happening that way. And that if we at an HQ level ever, do a campaign that's cheaper than that, let's say we do a deal with Jack Canfield and he wants to offer a special deal to his clients, then that would be done privately within the scope of that funnel, not in a publicly advertised way. And we would expect that I imagine that we'd like to ask that you guys did the same thing. So for example, one of our coaches has a website offering it at $400. No, we don't want that. The price there should be minimally $895, and frankly, it should be higher than that. So, and then that comes back to the little, rant that I mentioned earlier, and that is that, what will create a premium? What will create a premium for somebody willing to pay to do the program with you is, first of all, a real connection with you, a real understanding that you are special, that you are attractive, that your energy is what they want to work with, and that they understand the downsides of going to a class where there's 1,000 people in the class and they're just going to be a number, because that's what they are. There are people who raise their hands every single week and don't get to speak to anybody. Pamela, I don't know what the story with the past version of that was. We're working on a price ratification with them now. So, and again, this is an agreement we reached with them in the last 2 or 3 weeks to say, hey, why don't we all work on a minimum pricing level so that we're not in a fight to the bottom. Sorry, Andrea, back over to you.
Oh, that's all good. That answers the question. And yes, Pamela, Eric, you just answered what Pamela said, which is that it's a very recent agreement, so it's going to take some time to clear up anything that's got a lower price point on it.
And one more thing, guys, and I'm really sorry. I'm literally 20 minutes or 17 minutes late for an actual appointment that I was supposed to be at, but I just I want to be here for you. And so I really want you to know that as we grow this business, I mean, look, if I had my way, when people did WildFit for free, they would actually complete the program. They don't. Therefore, it can't be free. And do you understand what I mean? We've done it. We've comped people in, and they're the ones that bail out, that don't complete, that don't do this and don't do that. But in my model of the world, the way I would love for this to be is that WildFit was completely free, that the challenge was that the 90 days was free, and that millions of people could do it for free. But that as a result of them doing it for free, they would end up cultivating relationship with our coaching staff, and they would end up having coaching relationships with our staff, and they would end up buying consumables from our staff, from our certified coaches, and they would develop, somewhere between 18-month and 3-year relationships with the coaches, where they were buying weekly coaching sessions and green alkagizer, powdered alkagizer, and there'd be a long tail financial relationship with the client. Now, I'm not saying we're going to make WildFit for free. What I'm saying is, because of what I want to do in the world, I wish we could. I wish we could make it free and just invite millions of people to do it. But the challenge is that it doesn't work for free. And the second challenge is that we don't have the back end worked out that tightly yet. What I'd like to say is, hey, imagine that every time you met a WildFit client that had already completed the challenge, but they now wanted weekly coaching or even monthly coaching, and they wanted to buy consumables from you, and they created a great 2-year relationship with you, then the question is, how many people would you want going through the challenge? Tens of thousands. And so we're in a bit of a sticky wicket where, in the meantime, we're going to have to make changes to keep up with market trends and all that kind of stuff. And that's why this kind of feedback's really important. Sarah, I hate the idea that people moved to the Mind Valley Quest from you. And I'll tell you why. Yes, there are certain things about their platform that are prettier, that's a good point. But there are some things that they don't get on their platform that they do get on our platform. Excuse me. It's super dry here, and I didn't bring water. Hold on.
I mean, I still go to their platform to see the recordings because I find it useful. So, I'm sure the people would do the same thing.
Sorry, Sarah, I missed that.
I said I still go to their platform because I still have access to it. It's unlimited access. So I still go and you know, look at the recordings from later on quests. So people were asking how the coaches answered. So it's very useful.
It is, and it doesn't have the it doesn't have the daily check-ins, and which means that we supporting the coaches can't feed that data back to the coaches and so on. Otherwise, if we thought their platform was so fantastic, we might have just simply like gone with their platform. Some of our clients actually prefer our platform, and some of our clients prefer their platform. And I'll tell you the difference. The ones that were already Mindvalley clients typically like their platform, and the ones that weren't typically like our platform. But Sarah, here's the bigger thing. Irrespective of the platform, they'd be better served by working with you. That's the bottom line. Irrespective of the platform, that client would have a better experience if they had access to you every single week, which is something they don't have on the Mindvalley platform. And what I want to suggest is maybe one of the things that we need to work on here, and this is one of the reasons that we're interested in working with Jason, is really helping you guys get clear about why it is that working with you is so much more valuable than going into a large mass group or buying a WildFit book and doing it on their own or any of that kind of stuff. Working with you is a premium experience. Working with you means that they get to talk about what's going on in their head and that they get to have those breakthroughs. We know that the success rate of the program is actually higher when they're in a small class working with a coach than it is when they're in a large class. The success rate is still phenomenally high compared to the diet industry, but it is better when they work with you. And I think that's something that, you know, if we create a price ceiling so that you're not getting undercut or you've got some price certainty, but then equally, if we really start to get focused on why it is that working with you as a coach is a substantially better deal than being one of 1,000 people in a class, then I think it'll help you to overcome that objection even before it happens. I'm hoping.
Eric, I see Lisa's raising her hand also. So let's
go for it. You're in charge. I'm interjecting where I can.
All good. No, all good. Lisa, go for it.
Okay, thank you. I have a few questions. I totally connect with what Sarah's been saying because I've promoted WildFit to lots of people. I have lots of active groups, so I'm actively talking about WildFit on a daily basis. People don't know me because was told that they chose Mindvalley just because Mindvalley is a big company and they trusted it, and of course their marketing is, we cannot compete with the marketing that Mindvalley do. And no matter how much we say to people that what we offer is much more personalized, and it's, I use the example of buying a Ferrari and then buying the Ferrari with the instruction book and the method of how to do it and the coaching, which is personalized. But no matter how much I talk about that, people are still going for the price. And the first Google search for WildFit comes up with the price at just under 400 euros, dollars, sorry. So that's my first, thing that I'm experiencing is that people we're not ourselves a personality yet. So I have very active groups, but they're still going to Mindvalley, and I don't know how I can get around it without lowering prices, which obviously, Eric, I don't want to do that because I believe that WildFit is a very valuable program and that we should be selling for its value. But with competition on internet and Mindvalley, I really don't know at what price to sell it. That's my first question.
Lisa,
can you say anything about that?
Yeah, let's do one at a time if we can. So one of the issues is I believe that by creating like price ceilings so that we know where the pricing is, the pricing standardization will fix the larger complaint, the larger challenge. By the way, Mindvalley is equally complaining about coaches undercutting their pricing, and that's why everybody wants to get to a place where there's a standardized pricing. Mindvalley recognizes that their offer is not as valuable as coaching. And so that way they get really annoyed when they see a coach offering coached classes less than the Mind Valley class. It drives them crazy. So it is a problem, and I believe that price standardization is going to help that a little bit. But Lisa, funny enough, like when we did this, like I just did a random survey of some Instagram and Facebook accounts, and I don't remember yours offhand, but I vaguely do, and I feel like I don't remember seeing anywhere that you're a certified WildFit coach. I remember seeing something about like, I don't know, Life Sciences Institute or something like that on your Facebook page. And so remember that when
no, I'm on LinkedIn as a certified WildFit coach, and I'm also on all my groups. It states WildFit coach, even on my personal page.
Okay, hang on, hold on a second. Here is your Facebook page: Life Passion, Certified Garuda and Wild and Wonderful 90 Coach and Crazy Fox Retreats, Fox M Folks. What that tells me is you have no focus. I don't see WildFit in there anywhere. It doesn't tell. It does, like when you're saying that they're going to Mind Valley because they're a big company, they're going to Mind Valley because Mind Valley has consistent branding. That's one of the very biggest things that we learned from Jeffrey Perlman about this, is that there's a sense of consistent branding. So I didn't look at your LinkedIn page, or if I did, I don't remember it, but I do remember that about your Facebook page. So what I'm saying is that when you're in your groups and you're talking about stuff.
Sorry, but that is a personal, sorry, Eric, that's a personal page, but on my business page, it definitely says WildFit.
Lisa, I'm with you. Listen, I'm not saying you're doing everything wrong or everything right or what have you. What I'm saying is, a consumer, I know that on my personal page, people go look at my personal page when I go talk to them about WildFit. As much as I try to push them to my official certified, my like, what do they call it? My approved page with WildFit or with Facebook and what have you. They go to my personal page and they go there. And by the way, I do this all the time. Like, here's a crazy example. When we were sourcing breast milk for Zoe, the first thing I did when somebody offered to sell us breast milk is I went to their personal Facebook page, because that's what tells me who they are. That's what tells me whether I can trust them. Are they out drinking on the weekends? Like, it just tells me who they are. So unfortunately, when you put yourself in the public as a personal coach, people look at your personal life to determine whether or not you're a personal coach. So I'm not saying this is the reason. I'm saying that these are the kind of optimizations that when we started looking at this stuff, what we were finding is that the coaches that seem to be getting a throughput of clients that are not struggling in the same way, they seem to have consistent branding across their social media platform, where it's like really clear that they're a WildFit coach. And if you've got it on your LinkedIn and on your professional page, that's a great start.
Can I just say that on my personal page, it did actually say WildFit Coach. And there is also the link to my website, which is wildandwonderful90.com. And in the website, it talks about WildFit and everything. But I changed it from WildFit to Wild and Wonderful because as soon as people see WildFit, they're Googling it. And what are they coming up with it? They're coming up with it at $4,000, and they're coming up with the Mind Valley course. And that's why I changed it.
Well, Lisa, conversely, what's happening is that there's such a big conversation about WildFit going out there that it has a level of brand recognition. And so when people see that WildFit's in your profile, they're like, man, I'm seeing that all over the place. Tell me more about that. Okay. And I mean, that's the feedback I've been getting from people. So again, Lisa, I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying, you're saying to me, I'm posting this stuff and then I'm losing the clients because they're a big company. And I'm saying, what consumers want is consistency and certainty. And so when they see, like, we've got this Jade, one of our business clients, who is a LinkedIn expert, and she gave me all kinds of grief about the way we do LinkedIn, because what the clients really want is a very clear statement about who you are. So we created a whole WildFit like accreditation model where our coaches can add that they're an accredited coach, and they can add LinkedIn accreditation, because that's what clients are looking for. So I'm not picking on you, Lisa. I'm sympathetic. I'm just pointing out that in my memory, and I was able to look it up right now and confirm, in my memory, there was nothing about your page that indicated me to you're a WildFit coach. So you can be posting about it all over the place, but that doesn't tell me that I should talk to you about it, because then I go look at your profile and it's not there. Now, if it was there before, that's cool. I'm just saying.
But it's
it
still
seemed,
there. It's still there. It's still there. It says on there, my website. Okay, so
okay,
I'll
Lisa,
put it
I'm
back to
looking at your
WildFit.
page
I'll put
right
it
now.
back to WildFit.
You're, sorry?
In the introduction, it has my website.
Lisa, your sound, either my side or your side is broken, so I didn't hear that. All I heard you say it is there. And if it is, then there's a problem with Facebook, which there happens to be today because they're having some issue with graphics. But I'm looking at your page right now and reading it word for word. Life Passion, Certified Garuda, and Wild and Wonderful 90 Coach, and Crazy Fox Retreats. That's what it says. Nothing about
what
Wild.
does it say? And underneath it says the links to my WildFit website. Maybe because the link is not visible enough. Maybe it's just not
it's
visible
not the link.
enough. So I'll
Lisa,
take your advice and put
yeah,
WildFit Coach back in the title.
It's not that the link isn't visible enough. It's that people have short attention spans. So they see the first thing they see and they move on. So if I look at your page, there's nothing about that suggests to me that you're a WildFit coach. So even if you're posting about it, I'd go, oh, look, she's posting great stuff about WildFit. I wonder where I could find out more about that. Not from her, because she's not, it doesn't say she's a certified WildFit coach. It does have studied nutrition at Institute of Health Sciences, went to the Garuda Yoga and Pilates studio. And then that's all the top line stuff. Maybe there's some WildFit stuff there. Then there's your website that says Wild and Wonderful 90. I can get to that if I scroll far enough down. That still doesn't tell me you're a WildFit coach. Now, again, Lisa, it might sound like I'm not picking on you. Sorry?
No, I'm listening to you and I'm taking it all as positive advice. And I'm getting what you're saying, but I'm telling you that the reason I took off WildFit was because I felt I was losing my clients. Because as soon as I talked about WildFit, give me other reasons. Okay,
so Lisa, maybe that was happening, or maybe it wasn't. We need to investigate this, and we need to figure out, what really is happening there. And again, the price, putting in price standardization is going to help with a lot of what we're talking about today. All I'm suggesting to you is I want you to think the other logic. You're saying that you post about WildFit, and then you want to change the name because they just go Google WildFit. So in other words, you've kind of removed the branding. And so what I want to suggest is that when you're posting about WildFit, at that moment, they go look at your profile. And if they saw right in there, certified WildFit coach with the little certified R, they'd go, oh, that's actually official. That's a real thing. It's a certified trademark. She's a certified coach. They'd be a lot, I would like to think, maybe you wouldn't agree, but I'd like to think that at that point, they'd be more inclined to go, oh, Lisa, I see you're a certified WildFit coach. I keep seeing this marketing all over, all over the internet from Mind Valley. And frankly, that's a big behemoth and I can't get an answer out of them because we hear this all the time, that people go to their campaigns and write to our help desk because they can't get an answer. And oh, by the way, Lisa, I see you're a certified WildFit coach from your profile here. Can you tell me more about it? And that's what I want to suggest to all of you is that the coaches that we've been, that are telling us, hey, we're getting clients, there are 250 clients being coached by coaches right now. And what we're hearing from those coaches is, I'm using LinkedIn, I'm using Instagram. It's clear to my clients that I'm a WildFit coach. So, and Lisa, look, if you're doing it well on LinkedIn and stuff, I'm happy to have a look and I'm happy to support you. I really wasn't picking on you. I was just saying at a glance, that was my thought.
Okay, thank you, Eric. I have another question.
When you have a chance, go and look at Pamela's. I'll get to your question. I just want to say this. When you have a chance, go and look at. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Just as an example. Anyway, your question.
I know her site well.
Your second.
My second question is when we share articles from WildFit. I mean, WildFit have some very, very good articles, and we share them. When we share them, at the bottom of every article, it says to click on the link for the 2-week reset. And the 2-week reset then is going to HQ for $23. So if I've been advertising my 2-week reset for like $30 and then they click on any of the links, they're all going back to the $23 with HQ. So how can we get around that? Or, I mean, how can we share excellent articles?
Sort that out. There should absolutely be price certain. The 2-week challenge should be locked at a price. There should no way that anybody is selling the 2-week challenge at anything other than the normal price. So we will sort that out, Lisa. Here's the other thing is, if I understand this correctly, and Andrea, you can correct me, but if you share that article and you attach your affiliate code to the article link, then when they land on that article, the cookies are going to record that you're the one that sent them there. And that what's going to happen at that point is that if they buy the $27 challenge, you're going to get the affiliate commission for that anyway. And if they then upgrade to buy WildFit, you're going to get the affiliate commission. And if they then go on to buy anything else from us, including membership or certification or anything else, you're going to get the commission there. So even if you've lost them, you haven't lost them. And by the way, it's $27 on that page. It's always been $27 that I know of. So if you're selling it at 30,
how much is it?
Sorry?
How much is it? 27?
27.
How much is
not 23.
Okay. I think when you put your link in, if they click on your link, which is at the top of the article, then it's associated. But if they click on the actual image, is it still associated with our link?
They have to click on your link in order for it to be associated. And that's a way that Facebook, I can't change how that works. That's Facebook populated. That's why you have to put your link in for them to click on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
So
they
don't click on the link. They click on the image.
You can also repurpose our article.
Hang on a second, Andrea. Lisa, your answer is that as long as you have posted the link with your affiliate tail on it, it doesn't matter whether they click the image or the link. The cookie should be captured on the other side, because the image is just a pull from the link. So if you publish one of the articles on LinkedIn or Instagram, well, it doesn't work on Instagram, but if you publish on LinkedIn or Facebook or Twitter, then you add your little affiliate link on the end of any of the URLs. When they click that, whether it's the image or the link, they go to the website records the cookie, says, hey, this is Lisa's person. And when they buy the $27 challenge, you get the commission and anything that happens after that. All you have to do is add your affiliate chain onto there. Or you can do like Andrea said, and that is take the article, publish it on your own blog, and share it with them directly on your own and keep the traffic for yourself. You're absolutely allowed to do that. Either way protects you.
Okay. You said earlier on that HQ are not doing any group challenges now, so that you are not in competition with coaches. But don't you think that Mind Valley are doing exactly the same thing?
Yes, absolutely. What we didn't want to do is continue, we moved away from doing it because we did a licensing deal with Mind Valley, and we did that with Mind Valley on the basis that they agreed to beta test and then launch an upsell path toward coaches. We don't have the capacity. We have not had the capacity. Okay, let me put it another way. We realize there are some people that are never going to buy a full coached package. They're going to go after the Walmart version of the program all the time, and we didn't want to be responsible for the Walmart version of it. And so that's ultimately what kind of pushed us toward doing this with Mind Valley. And I hate using the Walmart metaphor because I don't view, I only mean that in terms of mass market. Mind Valley is much higher quality than that. But the version of the program is a mass market discount level program. And what we would really like to do is move to a place where we don't really have that as a program offering, and that the coaches are offering the private coached, that is the value add version of it. So yes, I completely see that if we're not marketing effectively or if we're not differentiating the difference between what it's like to be in a mass market class versus a private class, then it comes across as competition. But at the same time, it also comes across as massive reputation. There is one thing that's really important to remember for all of you is for you to walk out to a gym or a Whole Foods or a yoga class and say, oh, I'm a WildFit coach. 3 years ago, nobody knew what WildFit was. Today, still Some people don't, but many people do. And what many people need is they need to hear about something 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 times before they're willing to put their money into it. It's just the way it is. So what I want to suggest is that overall, I believe that our coaching, that our coaches are picking up more opportunities as a result of Mind Valley than they're losing. The only difference is the ones they're losing are obvious. And I think that's a problem. And then I think also that sometimes we're losing because we haven't gone through best practices on how to really differentiate yourself versus what's the difference working with you as an individual versus them going in a mass class. And I don't think we've been doing that effectively as a group.
Is there no way that Mind Valley can go through WildFit HQ to do the program so that we can actually use our affiliate links?
No, we can't do that. We did do one class with them that way. There's a number of reasons. One is our system would groan under the pressure of 1,600 clients at a time, in a single class. We could probably handle that. We have handled that level, but anything longer than that, there'd be no scalability or growth. It also, as a partner, that's just not the way they would do things. One thing that I am prepared to talk to them about, and I am open, I don't know what they would do with it, but one of the things I am open to discussing with them is potentially lowering their threshold for their affiliate campaign for certified WildFit coaches, not for clients, but for certified WildFit coaches. So right now they have a requirement that you have something like 10,000 people on your email list and or 200,000 people on your fan list, and that they won't take affiliates below that threshold. And that's quite a common thread. It's quite a common trend in the high-end internet marketing business because, frankly, most affiliates are a complete waste of time. Like, they don't actually get out and promote effectively. They don't brand effectively. They don't. And so you end up supporting all these people that aren't really worth the support relative to the revenues they generate. That said, I am happy to talk with Mind Valley about the possibility of opening up their affiliate platform to certified WildFit coaches that are below the threshold, because I have no issue with that. If you guys, and by the way, their affiliate commissions are quite generous. So it could be one of those cases where you're saying, well, if I don't have a class open right now, you'd prefer to promote their class directly. That said, what I'd rather you did is use your affiliate code to promote the digital classes that we have that are less expensive than Mind Valley's class, so that we can try and upsell them to one of the coaches that is running the class at that time. But I am up for having the conversation with Mind Valley to see if it's a possibility.
How much is the digital course program with WildFit?
On the website, I don't know what it currently is, but it's generally $500 to $600. And then we've been testing in limited campaigns when they do the 2-week challenge. We've been testing it at $297. That's not publicly, as far as I know, although it looks like one page has slipped through Google's thing, but it's not publicly available. It's something that happens in a limited campaign. So somebody answers a Facebook ad, they go through the 14-week challenge, and then they're offered that discounted price. That's part of a beta class. And pooling, that's exactly what we're looking for, and I respect that some of you do it just out of the kindness of your heart and you send clients off to each other, and I've seen that. That's beautiful. And some of you want to do it under your affiliate code, and I have no judgment of that either. Ultimately, that's what I'd like to see, rather than people getting a Mind Valley affiliate code. But like I said, I hear the concern, and I'm open to have the conversation with them.
I think the problem is that people are seeing different prices everywhere, with HQ, with Mind Valley, with coaches. And so they're getting the gist of the idea that the prices are varied. So one of the first questions they're asking is, how much is it? And I'm now in a situation where I have lowered it a little bit, and I've got coaches going through the program who paid more. So I almost feel that I haven't done justice to them, because I'm now offering at a lower price. So
well, Lisa, prices, price flexibility it's a funny thing generally in the market. Like a BMW 325 has a multitude of different prices depending on which version you're selling. And so you see it advertised over here for $297 a month, and over here for $597 a month, and over there for $45,000. And like that one car has a million different prices depending on what, configuration it's sold in. Here's the opportunity in that, is that if there is any question of, or if there is any like confusion about why the price is a certain way, then that's when you want to have, like guys, when you see people that has like, want to lose weight, ask me how, from the, all the various weight loss, and the reason they wear that pin is that the brand has created that the people are out there weren't thinking about the brand, and they see you wearing the pin and they go, Lisa, you're with the WildFit company? Tell me about this. I'm confused. There seems to be a few different packages. And so that's what we're really trying to do, is like, if you look at us on Google Trends, we are actually a thing now. We weren't a thing 3 years ago. We're a thing. People think about us. I wear my WildFit shirt on planes. People walk up to me and go, could you tell me more about that? I had a famous chiropractor walk up to me in a restaurant one day and go, and we were talking about other things. And then he said to me, wow, a couple of my clients have done this crazy new program, and now their adjustments like take only 15 minutes because all their inflammation is gone. And he said to me, have you heard about this WildFit company? So like, we're a thing. It's becoming a thing. And so once it's a thing, you want the bumper sticker on your car that says, curious about WildFit? Ask me about it. Curious about weight loss? Let me show you how to make it happen. Curious about inflammation reduction? I can make that happen for you. What I'm getting at is that the name, one of the big advantages of Mindvalley is it's a discussion out there now. I very rarely pass through an airport these days where somebody doesn't walk up to me and go, oh, you're the WildFit guy. 2 years ago, 2 years ago it started happening. 3 years ago, that didn't happen. So I come back to this. Price standardization is going to help a lot of what our conversation is about today, I believe, I hope, and we'll continue to do that, continue to refine that. Also, what's going to help is getting really clear about why working with a coach is so much more advantageous than working in a class of 1,000 people. And if we need to do a separate meeting on a clinic on what the script to say is and how to say it and what to say, but the truth of the matter is, statistically, people do better when they're working one-on-one with a coach. They just do. And so it is absolutely reasonable that if Mindvalley's selling their classes at say $900, it's absolutely reasonable for somebody to pay an extra $600 to have personal coaching for 3 months. I mean, it's $600 for personal coaching. That's a no-brainer, unless it's not sold very well, in which case, that's a little bit more challenging. So, and then the last thing is that as the brand continues to grow and get bigger and bigger, this is why you guys want, when somebody looks at your LinkedIn or looks at your Facebook or looks at your Instagram, that right off the bat, they go, oh, this person's with WildFit. I've heard about that brand. I'd like to ask them more about it. If you go look at my Instagram, it changed about 2 months ago. The first thing it says now is founder of WildFit. Right away, it says founder of WildFit. If I was a certified coach, it would say certified WildFit coach. And by the way, I went and figured out the weird, tricky little code that I needed to use to put the certified little registered R on it, because it makes it look solid. And it's legally what we're allowed to do because it's our trademark. So I would say the same thing on your Instagram. It's a certified WildFit coach. And then now when somebody is like following your, and they go, oh, that was a yummy meal. And they go look at your profile. Oh, they're a certified WildFit coach. Hey, Lisa, I hear you're a certified WildFit coach. What's this big class that Mindvalley's offering over there? And then Lisa goes, let me tell you about that big class over there. And let me tell you about the advantage of working with me personally. You get me, right? I mean, I don't want to oversimplify it, but that's kind of where we need to head.
Can you share how we add that little R?
I found the best way. You just find the little R, highlight it, cut it, paste it.
Okay.
So you just go to Google, find any document where the little R is, and then cut it and paste it. It took me a while to figure it out, but that's how I got it there. Good question.
It was too simple to be hard to find.
I know. I tried to find the special, ASCII code and all this kind of stuff. On the Mac computer, there's a special keystroke you can do for it. But it turns out the best thing is just cut and paste.
Okay, thank you, Eric.
There it is, Sarah. She's effective. Lisa, thank you very much. And listen, I really appreciate you being forthright and being direct about this stuff. I am not afraid of any of this. I want this to be a phenomenal success for everybody who's putting the effort in to make it a phenomenal success. I know there are bumps in the road. We have a major mission here to achieve. We literally have 1 billion people to save. And so every now and again, we're going to have to buckle down and find out, are we using the right strategy to save those 1 billion people? And we're always going to want to take feedback from you guys on that.
Do you think you can suggest something to Mind Valley?
Suggest what?
It's just to suggest, because you know their marketing is just like mega marketing, and I mean everything they advertise, you think it's the last thing on the world, that you think that you absolutely have to do everything because they're so good at what they do. Now, if they made it clear exactly what a Mind Valley WildFit class is, as in how many people, and if they also stipulate that if they want a more personal, smaller class with more personal coaching, then they should recommend a WildFit certified coach. I think that would really help, because then people...
So, yeah, Lisa, that they are planning on that. Only just 2 weeks ago, Grace, who's the product manager for WildFit at Mind Valley, was talking to Andrea about how to do this, and there's two different ways, there's two different times. One is somebody buys the Quest and might want coaching support during the Quest, right? So that's one potential upsell. And then the other potential upsell is when they finish the Quest, what we're looking at doing is having a system where coaches can volunteer to give, say, 45 minutes of their time for free to do what's called a discovery call with the client. What we want to do is cultivate a script. So Lisa, imagine I've just finished the WildFit Challenge, right? And I've got my free discovery call with you because you've opted to try doing some of these discovery calls. So I go, hey, Lisa, I'm so excited. I'm a little worried about this, this, and this, and I'm not sure which ratio to use, and I'm just struggling a little bit. And then you coach me, and you follow the script. And then they go, you know what, Lisa, I really appreciate that. And then you're like, you know what I would love to suggest to you is that if you really, really want to stay on track with this, that for the next 3 months, why don't you and I meet once a month? And I can really help to keep you on track. And then boom, you've upsold yourself a coaching client for the next 3 months or something like that. So we're definitely working on figuring out how to get, like I said, to move the income line so that the majority of a coach's income doesn't even come from the challenge. Like you don't even care about the challenge. What you care about is the 3-year relationship with the client. That's what I want you focused on. I mean, in a perfect world, I don't even want you focused on going and getting new clients. I mean, that's not realistic, but for immediately right now. But ultimately, I'd like to get to a place where your focus is on the 3 years relationship with a client after they've gone through the challenge or read the book or watched the WildFit TV series or whatever else we launch in the future. That's where I really want your income to come from. And by the way, a 3-year income like that is a whole lot more exciting than a 90-day income you have to chase every 90 days. So, guys, I'm going to take one more, and then Andrea, I got to hand it to you. I am 52 minutes late, and they know that I'm late, but Pamela, I believe you were next, and then I got to run.
Yeah, Pamela's next.
I just want to say that so many of us, I mentioned in the comments, came from Mind Valley. And so that's where our contacts are. And you're looking at a small group. If you go to all of those millions of people that aren't in Mind Valley, you have a lot of people that don't even know to go there. So don't try to be in competition with them. Think about all the people that they don't even reach. And the reason that you can reach it, sorry, I'm talking fast because I'm so impassioned about this. The reason you can reach them is because it's you. It's your coaching. It's your personalized stuff. They're seeking out you. The people that Mind Valley creates, they're self-starters that can do it from the Quest, that want to do it with a large group. But there's all those other people that perhaps you're not marketing to that are available. And that's some of the things that I've learned also from Jason Goldberg. And I think that connection will be really good. You're not in competition. You can be competition proof if you're just yourself and the package that you offer. So I'll post in our group, Jason Goldberg's free group. You can join. You'll learn so much and just change your mindset. That's what we teach people. Change your mindset about food. We'll change your mindset about being a WildFit coach and getting out there. That's it. That's what I want to say.
Thank you, Pamela.
Yeah, this is great. This is great, Pamela.
I got to kick myself in the ass.
Pamela, this is great. We know you're enthusiastic. Sorry,
I was just saying, I have to kick myself in the ass, Pamela, that it took you to point out the very obvious fact that many of you came from Mind Valley, and therefore your Facebook friends are full of it. You're targeted by them, by their marketing. There are millions of people that are not seeing Mind Valley's ads. That is a really good point, Pamela. I appreciate you mentioning it. Please don't take that to think we won't take the rest of this seriously, of course. But Pamela, your point is 100% on point. I'm so sorry, guys. I absolutely have to go at this point. I know Andrea, I don't know what Andrea's schedule is like, but let me just say this to you. I really am committed to WildFit. Many of you know that I also teach business through Business Freedom. I recently licensed Business Freedom off to another company so that I could completely really be much more focused on what's happening here. We have a mission here, and it is a major, major mission. And so I really take these things seriously. We will continue to optimize WildFit to reach the maximum number of people as possible and support our coaches as best possible. So I appreciate your frankness, your willingness to step up and share both sides of your guys' perspectives. And with that, I'm afraid I've got to go. Andrea, over to you.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you very much, Eric. One other thing that Pamela mentioned is that, yes, your friends are within Mindvalley, but there's another thing that many people don't understand in marketing sometimes, and that is that there's this little tricky thing called a pixel, that if someone's been on a website for a long time, that pixel follows them around. And so you are seeing Mindvalley's advertising because you are pixeled from Mindvalley. So you see Mindvalley like all over the place. And in your world, you think that Mindvalley is all over the place, but it isn't actually that Mindvalley's marketing is that effective. It's that it's targeted at you over and over and over and over again. And so that's one of the reasons why you're being served up on the internet ads on a regular basis. So try this with another company that's really great at it, is Anthropology. I shop there often. If I go on their website and I'm looking at a shirt, with minutes, that same shirt gets popped up all over everywhere I'm searching, and that's just the nature of the pixel. So in some ways, it at times can feel like they're bombarding with their marketing, but actually it's only just being shown to you. Or as Pamela said, other people in your circle that are from Mindvalley, and there are so many circles outside of that Mindvalley does not reach, does not have access to, and that you guys can go and build relationships in and find clients from. Does anyone else have any other questions, or are we, I know this was scheduled for 1 hour and we're on hour number 2 right now. So I have a little bit more time and then I do have to go, but if I have any other questions, I can take them. Pamela, go for it.
Well, just in broadening what I thought maybe we'd be talking about in addition to this is packages. I know that some people, Leafy and Numi had mentioned about their packages, that they start maybe the challenge a little bit beforehand, getting a little bit more education, and then continue it afterwards. And I'd love to have another mastermind call maybe on broadening our package and really building up more of what our own personal stuff is and the coaching to separate ourselves maybe from just the 90 days.
I think that's a really good point. And actually, Jackie, who works in our office, is brilliant at that. She's really good at working one-on-one with people. So actually what I'd love to do is maybe a 2-hour session where she works with a couple of you one-on-one and helps you come up with the package for you. But while you guys, just like with WildFit, if she's coaching 1 or 2 people, you will get the experience where you can start to do the same with her. She is honestly the most brilliant person I've seen at doing that. So I will get Nicole and Angie to set that up with Jackie and have her do that for packages. And the other thing on that note too, Pamela, can I add one thing to that? For any of you who have had clients that ended up purchasing just the challenge from Mindvalley, did I just glitch for a second? Sorry, I'm in an Airbnb that's not that great of Wi-Fi. But any of you have had people sign up for Mindvalley and do the challenge, I would think about that as a huge opportunity because there's somebody you know who's doing WildFit. So pick up the phone, give them a call and say, hey, I'm really excited to support you on your WildFit journey. Do you want to check in at week 3, week 6, week 9, week 12, and build the relationship with them over that 90 days so you can continue to coach them later? I know many of you have heard me say this, but I still work with a WildFit coach on a regular basis just to check in and stay checked in with somebody that I'm being accountable to the goals that I have for my own health. And that's what you want people to see, is that WildFit is the first 90 days, like the WildFit 90 program is only the first 90 days of WildFit for the rest of their life. And that 0 point that Eric talked about with the, I think of it when I see an orca that jumps up into the water and how they have that powerful weight, like they're just so weightless at the very top of their jump. That's what we want to provide for people over and over and over again. And 90 days is just the start of that feeling. It doesn't end after 90 days. It's only the beginning. And so anybody who's got anybody that you've managed to convert into WildFit, number one, good job. You've got them curious enough to go and look into WildFit. Number two, reach out to them and build a relationship with them in the 90 days and touch base with them and use it to upsell into longer coaching packages. And Pamela, I will set that coaching package workshop up, and the way we'll do it is get Jackie to just work with a couple of you one-on-one with what's unique about you, how can you do packages, and then everybody will get ideas from the way she does it. It's her sweet spot. She's great at it.
That would be awesome. It just kind of makes us more unique and individuals. And then I get somebody that I'm not a good match for. I mean, I can blow people out of the water, and if they need a quieter coach, I can, refer them out. And it's so interesting to just speak. That's sort of what Jason Goldberg teaches, is that really it's only 10% content. It's only 10% of the WildFit package, and the rest is 90% us as individuals.
100%. You're completely right on that. Like 10% of it is WildFit. How you package it is a little bit of it, but a lot of it is we like to do business with people we like. And that's one of the things, that putting yourself out there in a way that all of you are likable people and we like to do business with people we like. I'll tell you, after spending time with some of the people in Africa, I like them more because I had some personal time with them. And that's really what any of it is just taking time to get to know, let your clients get to know you also. Does anyone else have any other questions or input?
I just do have one more suggestion for everybody. Is that the Inception marketing package came with the WildFit coaching package. And there's a lot of really amazing info there. And I think it would behoove this group to go through that and maybe even get a group together to do the self-study and to do it together.
Oh, that's a good idea. I'll let you be in charge of that.
Hey, one other thing, guys. Pamela, that's a really good feedback. It really is. There are a lot of tools, and I wonder if sometimes we don't. I wonder if sometimes we didn't overwhelm, with too many tools, and if we did, I apologize. One of the on a more sort of this fun community thing, let me tell you something. That trip to the Bushman was phenomenal. It was mind-blowing and phenomenal. And of course, Hildy can speak to it. The ones who came now have just an incredible array of just beautiful photographs and videos of their experience, which makes them super credible. It's gonna be great. And Dean as well. And so I want you guys to know this is a first official statement of this. It's not official. No, it's an unofficial statement. I am likely going back again in February, and I will do the same thing. I will offer it to the WildFit coaching community first, because it was just so magical, and it just created such buzz for the WildFit coaches that came along. So as soon as that, and by the way, guys, I'm here at Mind Valley University, I have everybody and their dog asking me to take them on this trip. It goes to the WildFit coaches first, and if it sells out there, which it did this time, then it will only be WildFit coaches that are going. And it was this time. It was only WildFit coaches, film crew, and 2 friends of mine, and that was it. It was phenomenal. So anyway, I'll keep you guys posted, and certainly Hildy and Dean can tell you so much more about that. And Tim is here too. Tim can tell you too. So I have to go now, guys. Thanks so much. Andrea, thank you so much for holding the space. Thank you guys all for your input and your attention. And I will sign off now.
Thanks, Eric. Good stuff, guys. I think it seems like we're ready to sign off. Does anyone else have any other questions or hands up? Not seeing it. All right, good stuff, guys. Thank you very much. I know I had a couple private conversations with people on the side as well. Thank you so much for joining us, and I look forward to seeing you all next week on the Mastermind Call. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.